Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Guru Maharaj Shiv Prabhupada. Pradeep Prabhuji, when you're ready, you can start with prayers, Prabhuji.
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Today we are reading 8th Canto, Chapter 1, The Manus, Administrators of the Universe, from text 12 to text 22. Text 12. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has no beginning, no end, and no middle. Nor does he belong to a particular person or nation. He has no inside or outside. The dualities found within the material world, such as beginning and end, mine and theirs, are all absent from the personality of the Supreme Lord. The universe which emanates from him is another feature of the Lord. Therefore, the Supreme Lord is the ultimate truth and he is complete in greatness. Text 13. The entire cosmic manifestation is body of Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, which has millions of names and unlimited potencies. He is self-effulgent, unborn, and changeless. He is the beginning of everything, but he has no beginning. Because he has created this cosmic manifestation by his external energy, the universe appears to be created, maintained, and annihilated by him. Nonetheless, he remains inactive in his spiritual energy and is untouched by the activities of the material energy. Text 14. Therefore, to enable people to reach the stage of activities that are not tinged by fruitive results, great saints first engage people in fruitive activities. For unless one begins by performing activities recommended in the Shastras, one cannot reach the stage of liberation or activities that produce no reactions. Text 15. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is full in opulence by his own gain. Yet he acts as the creator, maintainer, and annihilator of of this material world. In spite of acting in that way, he is never entangled. Hence, devotees who follow in his footsteps are also never entangled. Text 16. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, works just like an ordinary human being, yet he does not desire to enjoy the fruits of the work. He is full in knowledge, free from material desires and aversions, and completely independent. As the supreme teacher of human society, he teaches his own way of activities and thus he inaugurates the real path of religion. I request everyone to follow him. Text 17. Sukadeva Goswami continued. Swayambhuva Manu was thus in a trance chanting the mantras of Vedic instruction known as the Upanishads. Upon seeing him, the Rakshasas and Asuras, being very hungry, wanted to devour him. Therefore, they ran after him with great speed. Text 18. The Supreme Lord Vishnu, who sits in heart, everyone's heart, appearing as Yagnapati, observed that the Rakshasas and demons are going to devour Swayambhuva Manu. Thus, the Lord, accompanied by his sons named the Yamas and by all other demigods, killed the demons and Rakshasas. He then took the position of Indra and began to rule the heavenly kingdom. Text 19. The son of Agni named Swarosicha became the second Manu. His several sons were headed by Dyumat, Susena, and Roshimat. Text 20. During the reign of Swarosicha, the post of Indra was assumed by Rochana, the son of Yagna. Tushita and others became the principal demigods, and Urja, Stamba, and others became the seven saints. All of them were faithful devotees of the Lord. Text 21. Vedashira was very celebrated rishi. From the womb of his wife, whose name was Tushita, uh, came the avatara named Vibhu. Text 22. Remained a brahmachari and never married throughout his life. From him, 88,000 and other saintly persons took lessons on self-control, austerity, and similar behavior. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Danvat Pranam. Thank you, Pradeep Prabhuji, for reading the translations. Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving me this opportunity so that I can purify my tongue today. We will start with prayers and then dive into Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Agyanam Timirandasya Gyananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnapristhaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Shatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey Krishna, Dhanvat Pranam. So today we are reading, we have started with 8th canto. We started that yesterday and we are in the first chapter. Today we'll be reading from verse number 12 until verse number 22. So just to give a very small background, here Manu, Swayambhav Manu, is doing tapasya. He's come here along with his wife and on the banks of Sunanda river. He's standing on one leg and the other one he's folded up, raising his hands high up. He's doing tapasya over there. That is austerity, performing austerity. And in those austerities, he's chanting various amazing, beautiful prayers, out of which 9, 10, 11 are already chanted by him. And we discussed in there that how everything belongs to Krishna. And now we keep continuing those prayers. We are reading those prayers again. We are continuing from verse number 12. So here, Prabhupada is explaining us through his puppet about the concept of Ishavashamidam Sarvam. Everything in this world, whatever we see, animate or inanimate, anything is Krishna's. Nothing belongs to us. So how do we understand this concept that how we should be utilizing all these things given by Krishna is with a basic example that when we rent a property, suppose we rent an apartment, when we rent an apartment, we don't paint the walls. We are very careful that there should be no scratches. And if there are any by any of our rough usage, we have to repair it back, patch it back, and give it to the landlord before you get out of that property. In the similar situation, we have to understand this is a beautiful material world which is created by Krishna, and we are here to use it. So when you are using it, it should not be exploited in any ways. You never exploit stuff that you have lent by anyone else, and it's Krishna's stuff. So that's how we can understand the concept of everything belongs to Krishna. Then here, it is also mentioned that there is, Prabhupada is mentioning Aham Sarvasya Prabhav, which means I am the most powerful personality in this whole world, is what Krishna says. We read about this in Bhagavad Gita 10.8. I am the most powerful personality. Everything is under my control. And then in this purport, Prabhupada is also giving the mention of Ishvara Param Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karana. What does that mean? Anything is happening in this world, in this life, in this material universe is because Krishna wants it to happen. You are here because Krishna wanted it, right? So the Karana, the cause of all causes, is always and will be Krishna only. Then in this puppet, Prabhupada is also explaining about the concept of Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. So to understand Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva, very simple example that has always been given in Shastra is also of the sun. So we see the sun rises every single day. So when a child in your house will come and tell you, oh, the sun is here, the sun is here. That really does not mean that the sun is here in your house, right? It's only the sunlight that is here. If the sun would be here in your house, you would burn down. But it's the light that is giving us, it's the sun rays that is giving us the light in our house. So there is a difference between both sun and sunlight, sun rays. But still, they go hand in hand, because if one is not there, the other cannot be present. You cannot say the sun is there today, but there is no sunlight. It's not possible. Or you cannot say there is a lot of sunlight today, but the sun did not appear. Again, not possible. Right? So this is Achinta Bheda Bhed Tattva that Prabhupada is trying to explain over here, that everything is simultaneously one, but also different. In this purport only, Prabhupada is also explaining about Krishna being Aja. Aja means somebody who has no beginning, no middle, no end. Like we do have a beginning. You know, you can say, I was born on so and so date in this material body, this particular material body. But we do not have any such date for Krishna. We don't say Krishna was born in the year. There was no year. He's always been there. We people on Bhuloka are very, very lucky to be celebrating Janmashtami. There is no Janmashtami in Goloka Vrindavan because Krishna is always there. There is no such date that Krishna appeared. For us, he was very kind and he came to us. Hence, we have Janmashtami. So there is no beginning. There is no end. People say God is dead. No, God is never dead. God is always there. Krishna will always be there. He cannot come to an end. Right? So this is what Prabhupada is explaining about the term Aja in this verse. Then we move on to the next verse, verse number 13. In 13, Prabhupada is explaining all sorts of names that Krishna gets. You know, he does anything, he gets a name. We, material human being, can have at the most 4 names, 5 names. Not more than that, because if you have more name, people will forget who you are. Like, what name do you have? But Krishna, by his activities, he gets name. Because he is the son of Yashoda, Yashodanandan, Nandananandan, Devaki Nandan, Vasudev. You know, he gets name as per whatever he's doing. Damodar. He did a Leela, he became Damodar. Then Makhanchor. Because he is a thief for Makhan, that is butter. Now he's Makhanchor. So whatever activities he'll be doing, because they're so glorious, he gets a name out of it. And here Prabhupada is stressing very hard. Yet, after so many names also, the one name that is prescribed in the Shastras for Kali Yuga is going to be Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is what Prabhupada is now in this puppet giving the glories of this Hare name. As per the Yuga that we are in, it is also called as Swarna Yuga or as in Golden Yuga. Why is it golden? 2 reasons that are specified by senior devotees are: one is because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the golden avatar, and the second, it is a golden opportunity that we don't have to do much. Like how Swayambhav Manu is standing on his one leg on the banks of the river Sunanda and doing tapasya to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We really don't have to go anywhere, even outside our house, to be sure for that matter. We can just sit in the chair or an asana inside our home and chant His holy name, is what Prabhupada is saying, for this yuga being a golden opportunity for us if we use it really well. Further going into this verse, Prabhupada is explaining that it is really, really very difficult to understand Krishna by the material vision, material senses, a material mental concoction. You cannot understand Krishna by this. But if it becomes extremely, extremely easy to understand Krishna if you are in the spiritual realm. So, under, uh, in the verse number 18.55 Bhagavad Gita also, Prabhupada is mentioning that it says Bhaktya Mam Abhijananti. Only through bhakti can you understand me, is what Krishna is saying. There is no other way. You cannot read all the Shastras and understand him. You can become a Jnana yogi, but not necessarily a bhakti yogi. Right? So here Prabhupada is stressing that hence, because of this reason, bhakti is the utmost, most important thing, and which can be attained by the 9 bhakti processes that is already mentioned several times to us, which is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. So after talking about all the 9 forms of bhakti, Prabhupada also says one very important point, that Krishna is changeless. There is never an old form of Krishna seen by us in any sort of picture. When Mahabharata was happening, Krishna was about 95, 96 years old. Today, if we see a person who's 95, 96 years old, the person can barely stand. Here, Krishna was there in the midst of Kurukshetra, Mahayuddha, Mahabharata was happening, right? And he always looked like Chiranjeevi, right? He was like looking like 16-year-old Kishore Avastha. So Krishna never changes, we change. We change because we are in the material realm, and everything over here is temporary. Everything with Krishna is forever, everlasting. So Krishna never changes, we change when we are in material body. But when we return back to Krishna, we are also with Krishna performing his pastimes with him, and we also attain that Divya Sharir. Then moving on to verse number 14. Verse number 14, dear devotees, is one of the important purports given by Prabhupada, which I would request all the devotees to read if possible. It is a little lengthier version than most of the times. So here we go. Prabhupada first is explaining that work done as sacrifice to Vishnu should be performed. It is very necessary to do anything which is for Vishnu. Otherwise, whatever you do is going to be of a binding nature. It is going to bind you, right? Here, Prabhupada is explaining that everyone in this world is working really hard because they think that the more hard I work, the more happiness I will get. But what are they actually getting? Prabhupada is explaining they're just working like asses, they're getting stress. And they still frantically are looking for where is the happiness, and they still work more, which is a foolish situation that we should not be doing. Here, Prabhupada is saying that any activity you do should be done to only satisfy Krishna. You know, we always say that we should have Krishna in the center of life. So one day, one student asked, "How? What do you mean by having Krishna in the center of your life?" I really liked that question because we have to actually think about it. What is having Krishna in the center of your life? How should we do everything for Krishna? So, whatever world or ashram you are in, we'll talk about Grihastha, as most of us are in Grihastha ashram. Every work we do should be for satisfaction of Krishna. How does that apply? The Prabhu in the house can go out for working and earn money. And in that money, after the basic needs, you're satisfied, like basic food, clothing. Most of the money out of that earning should be spent for the satisfaction of Krishna, for doing puja, arati, bhoga, festivals, decoration, whatsoever. And a Mataji is in the house if they're staying at home. They can work around serving Krishna. Your chanting should be your priority. When you go out of the house, you should first think, will this affect my chanting, hearing, and reading? If not, you can take up to any opportunities of going out or no. Otherwise, first priority should be given to your chanting, reading, and hearing. And then having association with devotees, inviting devotees at home, having a good sadhu sangha, singing the glories of Krishna. This is a way of for grihasthas to have Krishna in the center of their life. So that's how you do everything. You do it to satisfy Krishna. Uh, Further, Prabhupada is explaining that all these activities that we do with keeping Krishna in the center of our mind, they are called as yagya. And Vishnu is known as Yagya Purush. So any yagya you do goes to Yagya Purush, that is Vishnu. So we understand this concept from the verse Bhuktaram Yagya Tapasam from Bhagavad Gita. It says everything is being taken by me. It's Krishna says, I am the enjoyer of everything. I am the proprietor of everything. It is me who's enjoying everything. You are not. So once we understand this concept that there is no enjoyment for us in this material world, the hardships of surviving in this material world becomes relatively easier, right? And then Prabhupada is further explaining that the highest perfection can be achieved only by doing your prescribed dharma. And then further he goes on to explain the varnashram dharma, that all these varna and ashram should be given utmost importance, and a person should be working under these jurisdictions only. Here Prabhupada is giving the example of Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. Every person should act for the satisfaction of Krishna, and what it should result into, Anya Abhilashita Shunyam. Our etc. Needs and desires should eventually become Shunyam, as in zero. Right? So when we keep Krishna in the center, working only for his sense gratification, your desires will turn out to be zero. And Prabhupada is saying that Gyanis generally say that do nothing, just sit in one spot and then meditate. So Prabhupada is condemning that and saying it is absolutely not possible. You cannot just sit in one place and do like nothing, like think nothing. It's not possible. It's the job of the mind to think. In 1 minute from here, I can reach India. Does it just by the mind? The technology won't be able to do that, but my mind can do that. So mind is very fickle. It cannot stay still. Hence, Prabhupada says that whatever these jnanis say, that do nothing, just stay idle, sit down and concentrate, like think nothing, then you'll be able to meditate well. Prabhupada says it's nonsense. He says that put your mind in Krishna and do your dharma. You cannot be not doing anything. Any action when we are doing, even when we are thinking, we are getting ourselves bounded into the reactions of that. Right? Karma bandhana is happening. So Prabhupada is specifying, until unless a Krishna conscious way of life is not followed, there will be constantly karma bandhana at every step of your life. Here Prabhupada further goes on to explaining that there has to be completely no imitations from our senior acharyas. And then he goes on to giving an example of an African devotee who happened to come to Mayapur once. And then he was like, oh, I can chant like Haridas Thakur, I can do that. And he started chanting like 192, 196 rounds a day. He did it for 15 days. And after that, he was so extremely exhausted and tired that he ran away without telling anybody. So he was nowhere to be found. Prabhupada says this kind of imitations should not ever be done. No, you should first see where your varna and ashram is located, what is your age range, which ashram you are in, and according to that, you should perform your duties. Whatever duties are prescribed to us, we can read them in chapter number 18, Bhagavad Gita. And then further moving on to verse number 15 now. In verse number 15, Prabhupada is saying that everything done for Krishna is um, is going to give us a better result. But if you don't do everything for Krishna and if you start doing everything for your personal sense gratification, then he gives a very wonderful example of a silkworm. We might have heard of silkworm if we have not seen one. We know that a silkworm stays in between, and with his saliva he creates a cocoon around his body. When the whole body is trapped in that cocoon, eventually he cannot come out of it and he loses his body, passes away. Similarly, Prabhupada is saying we are standing over here and we are trying to satisfy all our indriya, we are trying to do indriya triptis, all our desires, and we start building like a cocoon for ourselves in which we only get trapped and tangle our life seriously. And at the time when it is the time to leave the body, we are not able to do antakale chamami. Right? We are able to just think about those worldly desires. So it's not anybody else tying us, it is we us tying us in the karma that we do, and we get trapped like a silkworm and lose our life. And Prabhupada is also talking about um, people say that oh, we are just like Krishna. There is no difference between us and God. Prabhupada condemns that. And he says, yes, we do have qualities like Krishna. But here an example of ocean can be taken. Ocean has X amount of salt in it. yeah, certain qualities in it. But if you dip a glass in it and get a water of ocean, it will still have the same quality like ocean by percentage wise or whatever. The quality will be exactly matching, but the quantity is going to make a huge difference. You can drown in an ocean. You cannot even get wet in properly in a glass of water. So you see, the quantity is making a huge difference. We might definitely have qualities like Krishna, but they are in such minute quantity that we do suffer when Maya Devi comes and attacks us. Yeah? Here Prabhupada is also emphasizing on the size of Krishna, that he is Vibhu and we are Anu. Here Prabhupada is saying that following the instruction, Krishna's instruction is possible only when one is a devotee. For Krishna instructs that one should become a devotee. Manmana bhav mat bhakto matyaji mam namaskuru. Krishna tells us what you have to do, and then in Bhagavatam he tells us how to do. Right? Um, in this, he is telling us simply by understanding Krishna, one is liberated from this material world. And then we'll move on to the next verse, verse number 16. This is also kind of very beautiful purport given here by Srila Prabhupada. Here, Prabhupada is telling us that Krishna is teaching us through the Shastras of what to do, how to do. We already spoke about it, that Bhagavad Gita, we understand what to do. It's like a manual. When you buy any machine, you get a manual with it of how to operate it, right? Um, and then Shastra, out of the Shastra, Srimad Bhagavatam is what tells you how to execute these things which are prescribed in Bhagavad Gita. This is why we always get examples from each other. Like when we are studying Bhagavatam, we get examples out of Bhagavad Gita. Right? Here Prabhupada has given examples of Ramachandra. Krishna himself comes as Ramachandra. And then he is showing an example of how an ideal son he is, what an amazing ruler he is, and what amazing brother bonding son he is, and then such a chaste husband. So every nice qualities he is portrayed in front of us. And everybody, all of us always desire till date that we want to stay in a Ram Rajya, right? It is an amazing place to be. We still hanker for it just by hearing it. So this is how Ramachandra set example. Then Krishna comes himself and talks to Arjun, and through Arjun he teaches us how we can go back to Godhead, like how we can get out of this material trap. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also comes and he only teaches us how to do bhakti. And then he only in Shaktavesh Avatar and Ved Vyas comes and writes and gives us all these Shastras. So he is doing everything for us. Everything is offered to us on a plate. We just have to pick it up and eat it. Right? It's Prabhupada used to say, Bhakti is so simple that it will be easily missed. Krishna has given us all sorts of examples, all sorts of resources of how to do, what to do, when to do. We just have to accept it. When I was reading this, um, my Prabhuji pointed out a point that there is no really need for him to do this. He is doing it out of love. And this we can see in Bhagavad Gita also. He says that, O son of Pritha, 3.22, there is no work prescribed for me within all the three planetary system, nor am I in want of anything, nor have I a need to obtain anything, and yet I am engaged in the prescribed duties. So Krishna has no need to do anything. He is Guna Dhish. We are Guna Dhin. We come under the jurisdiction of three modes of material nature. We are forced to do things as per the three modes of material nature. Krishna is not, but still he is doing it. Why? Because he loves us. He's setting an example for us, which he says in 3.21. Because when the big person will do something, the common person will follow. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow, and whatever standards he set by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. So we are actually by following the Shastra, we are trying to follow what Krishna told us, and that is one of the best thing a devotee can do to satisfy his master. Now, moving on to verse number 17. So, after 17 till 22, there is all the translations have no purport in them. It's just a story that we will go through. So, now Swayambhu Manu, when he was in trance and meditating on Krishna, like how we just read, then a lot of asuras, rakshasas saw him and they were hungry and wanted to eat him and they ran towards him. The moment the asuras ran towards him with bad intention, Vishnu, who is also Paramatma in our heart, saw that and he appeared there to protect his devotee, okay, along with his sons named Yamas. And he killed all those demons and rakshasas and took the post of Indra. And he began to rule that kingdom. And further, we see the son of Agni named Swarochisa became the second Manu. And then he had several sons, which were Dyumat, Susena, Rochishmat. Verse number 20, I'm just going through translations because it's very self explanatory and there is no purport to it. During the reign of Sarochisa, the post of Indra was assumed by Rochana, the son of Yagna, and Tushita and others became principal demigods. Urja and Stamba and others became the seven saints. And then in 21 and 22, so here Veda Shira was a very big devotee, and through him came avatar of Vibhu. And Vibhu became never married and he educated 88,000 saintly person. Somehow 88,000 plays really important role in Srimad Bhagavatam. We have 88,000 Vaishnavas listening to Bhagavatam. Then again, Naimisharanyos, we have 88,000 rishis and sages listening to Bhagavatam by Sutta Goswami. So 88,000 is very important. Vibhu finally trained 88,000 people about self-control, austerity, and good, nice, similar behavior. From 23, we will read on tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much,